What's going on, everybody? Great morning. Happy Friday. This is Jordan with Conquer Trading and Investing. Really excited to be here with you all. You guys setting the tone over here We got the music going. The intro music in the morning sets the right mindset, mind frame for all of us. You all come in just sharing what's going on, sharing your knowledge, building myself, building each other up. It's a beautiful place to be. I'm really grateful for it. We have a really, really nice Friday episode planned out ahead of us for us today. A lot has been going on in Bitcoin, in the cryptocurrency market in the last 12 hours. We're going to talk about it all. We're going to be looking at gold, silver, the precious metals, talk actually a little bit about them, my investments at them. We're talking about Michael Saylor. Someone recommended the recent interview on Stanberry Research, absolute fire stuff. I mean, it's just really a pleasure to listen to, right? Not anything new if you've been abreast with past interviews, especially the one on Real Vision, where he really makes that case for why Bitcoin is so superior to gold over a longer time frame, that it's, you want to just sell your precious metals in that moment. But that's not so easy to do. But we'll talk about all of that. We're going to talk about the equity markets coming off a little bit here today. What's going on with the dollar today? Range bound, right? Range bound. And between our support and resistance, we continue to look forward to trade within that range until we get the breakout the next way. We'll look at that. We're going to look at why I do not look at the 10-year. You all know I don't include this on my analysis, and I'm going to delete it today after now showing why. Look over here. We have yields down and gold and silver down. It's just a conflicting indicator that sometimes there's a correlation, not always. Since I don't trade it, I don't have to consult it. I'd rather just focus on what's going on this chart in front of me and focus on price and focus on the market structure of support and resistance for whatever instrument that I'm interested in trading at that particular time. Why understanding that dance that takes place across the financial system in general. If you're watching, 30, 40 instruments a day, you'll have a pretty good feel for the flow of the overall financial system, what happens when and why. So what does that leave us over here this morning, right? Where does that leave us? Where is it going to take us should be the question. Let's talk about Bitcoin first, right? The Bitcoin only show over here. Someone had the beautiful comment, conquer investing and trading in Bitcoin, and conquer investing in Bitcoin and trade everything else. JCL Capital. And that's what it is, right? For this point in the cycle, at least, I'm already forward thinking. I'm already forward thinking to the top of the next cycle, by the way, right? There is going to come a time when I'm looking to get out over here and not looking to accumulate back in to Bitcoin until about 15 months to the next halving. I have to say, let's start this off with Raoul Pal. Let me just tell you what happened in the past 12 hours or so. You know that Bitcoin was falling last night. It was dipping below 30,000. So I wanted to make sure that I was in communication with all of you, right? I put out this tweet. I started tweeting over here. This is the dip. You missed Bitcoin under 20,000. This is the opportunity to buy it, $30,000 Bitcoin. I then zoomed in over here, showed what's going on that smaller scale, showed that we could have even a 38% drawdown into 26,000. That's not what it's been so far. So far, we're seeing less of a drawdown. Let me come over to Bitcoin right over here. We're seeing over here, on this move over here, a drawdown of 31%, right? At all times, be mentally prepared for a 30% plus drawdown during the bull market phase of Bitcoin. How many times has that been ingrained into your mind? But there was FUD. I know there was FUD out there and people got scared, right? What was the Alan? I don't know why I don't have your photo up here, but Alan was talking about the FUD last night. He's saying it's FUD season. 30-40% pullbacks are normal in crypto. It goes to show nothing has changed. Even taking perfect conquering the market entries, you're going to get stopped out regularly in crypto or any other market. Keep the faith and hodl, right? And then over here, it's officially, I think Alan just came over to Twitter, so I'm focusing in on here. And he said, look, it's official FUD season. Don't give away your crypto in the latest shakeout. Buy the dip. I was on here on Twitter and showing you what was happening, where to go. Here we go. I zoomed in. That's why I showed this clear back of pulls in similar spots in previous cycles. It looks super healthy and bullish to me, pointing out that at this point in past cycles around 254, 255, 260 blocks past the halving, days past the halving, we have a little bit of a pullback. It's January, right? Greg noting this morning, notoriously a bad month for Bitcoin. Okay. So it's right on time. And look at the next phase we enter into right after this, by the way. Look at the next phase that's coming up right after this little pullback around 250. We have over here, I don't know how many days this is. It looks like 2 or 3 months worth of some pretty nice upwards price action, at least in the first 2 cycles. Being that everything's been rhyming, I'm going to expect it to continue to rhyme over here. And I think that, whether or not this is the bottom or not right over here, or we go lower, could we even go down over here into the support over here around 2,600 or 2,400? Are we going to see a 42% drawdown on Bitcoin? I don't think so, right? Are we going to see a 37, 38%? Be ready for it. Be ready for it, And here we are. So you could see, and what's really nice, it was also brought up. I have to talk about this over here with Raoul Pal's tweet over here because it was really awesome. Alan over here is put together a really nice thread on Twitter. It's regarding, I retweeted it or sent a comment over it because he's talking about all the FUD that's happened recently and breaking them down one by one, talking about each one. Self-hosted CRISPR rule, Mt. Gox FUD, Tether FUD, Lagarde and Yellen, energy FUD, double spend FUD, and he's giving what the FUD was, and then the reality, giving source proof of the reality. This is some really fire stuff. Alan, I don't understand why you're not in the Discord group, in the Conquering the Markets trading course, in that deeper inner circle of I don't understand it. So Raoul Pal, you guys know my feelings on my buddy Raoul. He crushed it yesterday. Well played with masterful timing, right? Raoul puts out a tweet yesterday and he's like, listen, I'm going to add a basket of 10 altcoins to my Bitcoin and Ethereum bets using this dip. Masterful. He nailed it. You all have seen, right? Last weekend, I put out that video on cryptocurrencies talking about how Altseason is officially here, seeing those altcoins break out versus Bitcoin, those long-term trend lines from the all-time highs coming down to now. And Raoul is also all over it. Show me your coin with a quality paragraph on why I should look at it. No maxi aggressiveness, blah, blah, blah. And he just has the perfect timing over here. And he's completely correct. Always giving credit where credit is due. Raoul gets all the credit because he's all over it, right? What else am I trying? I'm looking for something over here. I guess I'm going to look at some charts over here. And we've said a couple of things. But let's look at Ethereum really quick. Up 10% today, outperforming Bitcoin. Beautiful to see. Why? I'm going to show you that dance that I've been showing you. Remember I showed you the dance that we saw at DOT, right? We saw Chainlink. We saw to a lesser degree Cardano mooning. And then after that came Ethereum, right? And then after that, Bitcoin pulled back. And then you saw them, you saw also Ethereum pull back. I said over here in Ethereum, this looks like a good place to lean in. Why price was up here? If price comes back down over here, right? Was it perfect? No. Is it a good thing to do? Buying after making new all-time highs at this point in the cycle and then pulling back 15, 20% or so? Yeah, I think so, right? But look what happened on Ethereum Bitcoin, right? Remember, I was tracking with you on the 2-hour time frame. I was showing you, if you watch this little trend line over here, like if it breaks, then we could come down. And I put that out over here, and we came right into it and filled it. The bottom, you can see the bottom right there of this little bit of support over there in whatever consolidation patterns forming over here. But that's normal behavior that all of us are aware of as something makes a new all-time high like that. Came back, buying the volatility over here, right? Price right back up, ready to go and run. Look what happened Bitcoin versus DOT over here during that massive pullback in Bitcoin. Do you remember when DOT was up here? I was like, stay away. And then I drew this area over here. And I was like, if it comes back there, maybe that's where you might be interested in picking some DOT up over there. And look what happened, why Bitcoin was coming off and Ethereum was coming off and all eyes were over there. We looked at this yesterday in the live stream already, that this had broken out versus Bitcoin, right? And we were seeing them rise yesterday during this huge, and Brandon had it. Brandon, if you're not following him, on my recommended channels on YouTube, it shows 2 channels. It shows Heath's Trade Talk and it shows Brandon's crypto trades and tech. And Brandon was focusing at this point of the cycle very closely on altcoins versus Bitcoin, right? And I was like, in one of his live streams, I'm like, Brandon, well, why? I see right now, if the dollar is going to be weak, and alts are going to be strong, should I focus in on dollar pairs, stable coin pairs versus altcoins, right? He's proven correct right here, right now. You could see that the strength of the altcoins versus Bitcoin at this point of the cycle, and it's beautiful. And why it's beautiful is because you saw why Bitcoin was coming off over here under pressure, net 30% drawdown, right? 32% drawdown, big 31% drawdown. I'm trying to get it over. Whatever it was like a 30% drawdown. Be mentally prepared at all times in the bull market phase for a 30% plus drawdown. There it is, right? But you saw these alts continuing during alt season here to continue to be firm and outperform. Now you're seeing Ethereum outperforming by a large relative scale over here, Bitcoin today. So that's what we want to see during this point of the cycle, right? I don't care if Ethereum outperforms Bitcoin over here. I'm in Bitcoin because I believe it's the safer, better trade, right? So as long as Bitcoin keeps doing what it thinks, I'm rooting for Ethereum to outperform over here. That's all healthy of this really highly speculative bull market phase that we're going to be entering, and we're not even in yet. It's just beginning. It's literally just beginning, and it's going to get mania. There's going to be a mania to it. We're nowhere near the mania phase. Right now we're fighting the bull market FUD phase, and it should at this point be like water off a duck's back. You should not even really, like, when Janet Yellen comes out and says that cryptocurrency is used, or Bitcoin's used by criminals and those looking to launder money, and then the next day, look, she came out the next day and she's like, wait, crypto has potential to improve the financial system. Well, the financial system's an absolute joke. It's the most corrupt thing there ever, right? And the people behind it worse, right? But over here, she's saying, because we're gonna be launching our digital dollar. So I can't say that all cryptocurrencies and digital assets are bad, right? P.S. I can't control Bitcoin. Bitcoin is already one of the most regulated assets in the whole world. So regulated, and that's what they're doing. They're regulating it. They're not looking to ban it. Will they ever ban it? That's a question for a different day. I'm looking for something else over here. By the way, in the description below is a link to this over here. It talks about the interview on Stanberry Research with Michael Saylor. So I was watching it this morning. I've watched about half of it. The first 7-8 minutes are absolute fire. And then he really gets into why Bitcoin is so superior to gold. And it's clear as day. He's correct. It's awesome. Thanks for that share. I want to focus in on this over here. We were looking at the log charts over here. The question was, I think that we met resistance and pulled back at 42,000. Probably fair to say that the first log chart put together by Will has shown to be correct as best we can tell at this stage. So, yes, as best as we can tell at this stage, Will's chart so far, the trend line resistance and supports he's put in seems to be the most accurate because his first resistance lined up with 42,000. Thoughts on this video over here, Bitcoin exit plans. We looked at the different log chart models over here. In the description below, you could find the charts to all of them. Patrick's original, right? And then Will's chart over here. Will zoomed in. The comparison of these two different angles, my chart and Adam's chart. This video, if you haven't watched it yet, that's a good one to start with. That description is also in the link below. And over here on Will's resistance line, zoomed in over here, we could see that we came right into that resistance of 42,000. Jordan, you can't use trend lines on log charts. Okay, thank you. So so are we going to keep assessing and paying more close attention to this one over here, breaking above this trend line over here? Or is that going to draw our eyes over here right around 65,000? At that point, it could even be higher, somewhere around 72,000, or wherever that resistance might come in as we get to there. Of course. Great stuff, Will. Definitely great stuff. Appreciate it very, very much. What else? By the way, look, I don't know what this is over here, when I'm looking. 289 likes. It's a Friday, 1,400 people in here. Thanks for being here. And if you're here, thanks for smashing that like button over here. We're going to get into a super Friday Ask Me Anything flow a little bit later on. But right now I want to finish covering and just beginning what's going on across the markets, right? So, let me continue over here, Greg, before we get ahead. So Greg is saying, listen, the Bitcoin versus gold debate isn't good. It shouldn't be either or not for some reason. For some reason, people want Bitcoin as a hedge. Greg, yeah. So I own both. Right? And I've owned gold and silver for quite a while. And my plan was never to sell it. That was my plan, never to sell it. And I noticed that, like, listen, full disclosure, I don't have a stop loss on my gold and silver, and I never have, and I never will, because I understand money, right? So, so a lot of people take an issue that I don't have a stop loss. Look, it's better to trade with a stop loss, better to lose fast and small. The market is always there. You could buy again later. All right. Well, my gold position is just off its all-time highs. My Bitcoin position, it's just off its all-time highs. I understand money, which is why I own both. Should I be like, am I a fan of gold? So listen, like at this point, what do you want to hold? Do you want to hold gold or Bitcoin? Understanding where we are in the 4-year cycle, of course we want to be holding Bitcoin. But I'm not going to sell my gold because it's a pain to sell my gold. First of all, I never even, until this year, until the Real Vision interview with Michael Saylor, I never even had a thought to sell my gold. I believe that gold, which is held by central banks, is going to continue to play an important role in the financial system. And gold has a great use case of privacy, right? Because as, for example, not tax advice, definitely consult a professional. But if you own gold as an American citizen abroad and it's physical, right? That's not something that's even claimed until you sell it. That's the tax law, right? So is something wrong following the tax law? Of course not. That's what's meant to happen. You're supposed to follow the tax law. So you could say that there's a great deal more privacy on physical gold than there is on Bitcoin. And that's 100% correct. And that use case is not going anywhere. Now, at the top of this Bitcoin cycle, when I want to exit Bitcoin, right? Because I think we're going to be looking at an 80% drawdown, as we saw in the first two cycles. 85% in the first cycle, 84% in the second cycle. Will we see another 80% plus pullback drawdown in this coming bear market? Well, I think so. I definitely think so, but I don't have to be right. I just know when I need to start accumulating. All right. So, but I do think so. Either which way, I exiting Bitcoin at the top and then reaccumulating back in is going to prove to be the best way to accumulate more Bitcoin. And that's the whole name of the game. So would I prefer to put my money into dollars or gold at that point? If it's gold, I'm telling you, for my own what my own understanding now, I'm going to prefer to put that into some type of digital gold probably, or paper gold, something that could be moved in and out of relatively quick, rather than buying gold, storing it in a vault in Singapore, right? And then trying to get that out and buy Bitcoin with it over here, a year and a half later. I don't think so. That's not really what I want to do. So, there are options these days like Pax Gold. You also have, obviously, paper gold is really easy to trade in and out of. Over here, I don't know. So, sorry, gold versus silver. After that, as it's time to reaccumulate over here, would I maybe be looking to sell the gold that I bought 10 years ago? Right? This is a quiet time. I have a bunch of time over here. Would I maybe look, because it would take a while, it wouldn't be easy to sell some gold, right? I don't know. I never even tried. I never even had the thought. But over here, I have to say that I will be considering it, and whether or not I still want to hold that, just as an insurance, right? Is it an insurance against Bitcoin? No. Insurance against the system, kind of. Pax Gold, BlockFi. All right, so those are my thoughts. I'm a fan of gold, but gold is not as good as Bitcoin. Gold is not as good as Bitcoin, and that's just the way it is. Here, looking at our gold and Bitcoin, I was talking about yesterday as gold was flying against Bitcoin, up 12% as we were doing this live stream over here. I said, look, this is the time to lean in against gold with Bitcoin, right? We drew out that resistance over there. Now you can see price coming in, making those lower lows. That was clearly the time to buy Bitcoin. And I also said at the same time, listen, you have to train your brain. Right now, you see Bitcoin down 10%. That's an on sale sign, and that's what I tweeted out yesterday morning. Like, Bitcoin was on sale. So is this easy as you see Bitcoin dropping down over here, especially when it's printing at the low, and that's a big fat red bar at 28,750? No, it's not supposed to be easy. There's nothing easy about riding the bull market and riding it to completion. But there are a lot of people who sold sold below 32,000. They exited Bitcoin with their stop losses below 32,000, and now they're like, oh, it's going up again. Yeah, it's just fluctuating right now. Price is fluctuating until we break outside of here. Once we break outside of that trend line, the next leg should start up on Bitcoin. But everyone should be prepared for this. I tried my best to make sure that everyone through those tweets yesterday, could feel that calmness, right? And I didn't know if we were going lower. I was just prepared. It wouldn't be a big deal, if Bitcoin came all the way down towards. I wouldn't like it, but I was expecting for sure Bitcoin could even come down to 26,000. That would not be unhealthy. That would be borderline, in my opinion. If we came down to here, what's going on? If we came down to 24,000, I'd be like, wow, that's really volatile. We're probably going to go really volatile to the upside. And that's not something that I really want to see anyway. I'm more about like, it can't be straight up. It's not healthy. You're looking at something like that. And notice that over here, I wasn't like, okay, now we're going to pull back. I was like, watch out. If we go vertical, expect a bigger drawdown. I'm always worried about keeping myself mentally like in the best mind frame. And that's where we are. All right. Where are we with all of you, and what do we want to look at today? We've been going on here now for about 30 minutes, live 26 minutes. U.S. equity markets opening up in a few minutes. They're slightly down this morning, slightly down, a little bit off. Let's look at that together. That was coming off of this resistance over here. We were very clear about that resistance that we were trading up around. And, I said, just watch out. The one thing to watch out for is if at any point we break out to the upside of that resistance. That could lead to a nice move and a blow off top, near-term top on the equity markets, right? So that didn't happen. We've just been rejected by that resistance. Coming in over here, right, to an area that looks like this is a place where you could lean into, pick up perhaps some S&Ps. But and that's not what I want to get into. That's not really what's going on or where we should be focused. Over here, you can see over here, just so you're aware of the trend line breaks, watching for those next resumptions to occur. It occurred on the Nasdaq. Nasdaq also, just like the S&P, is riding that channel over here. Did that break out to the upside, by the way? Like, that's hard. Yeah, look at that. Let's watch what happens on the Nasdaq over here if we start getting liftoff. Notice these liftoff breaks. Price going vertical, right? Price is going vertical. Watch out. What happens against this trend line on the Nasdaq? We're going to step back into this in about 30 minutes, see where the Nasdaq is trading and see what we think over there. Russell coming off a little. You can see the trend line over there, just the resistance coming back over here. Let's just say there's nothing that I want to, nothing good or bad happening on the equity markets. They're just doing what they should be doing. The dollar, I just want to give a pretty clear read on over here. So everyone's always talking about this imminent crash in equities, and they've been talking about it all of 2020 ever since the crisis. On the whole way up, they've been talking about this imminent crash on the bull market, and it's been going on for quite a while. It's been going on for quite a while. Actually, if you look at this chart over here, this whole time they've been talking about, poor Sven, Northgrub Trademan, what has been talking about this whole time, the markets are crashing. Right? When the markets did actually literally crash, we lined that up well ahead of time because we were aware back in late January what was going on with the virus. We talked about how that could affect the markets, positioned ourselves accordingly into risk-off pairs in FX, the Swiss franc, the Japanese yen, and also rode this down on the S&P over here like champions, right? Trying to find the bottom over here myself only, right? Up to several trades, small stop losses before getting the bottom, riding that up like 350 points and then being like, oh, I should just get out. And then, trying to take some shorts over here throughout this period up until the middle of May. And then the announcement was made. Listen, there's just no more selling the equity markets over here. With the amount of liquidity we're seeing, with the amount of continued QE, yes, it is uber inflationary for assets. You could only buy until we came into that summer of August and was like, all right, caution, but we melted up and then came off hard, right? So being out of the market was the correct and right thing to do. You didn't squeeze every last drop of wine out of it, but you shouldn't try to, ever. You should be comfortable with your exit, doing the right thing, moving on, right? We talked about after the election, after breaking outside of that beautiful triangle pattern, that it was time to get back into the equity markets. Where is it? That's on the 3-day time frame. Where's our triangle that we were looking at into the U.S. election? I took it off the charts. It was this, like that. We were following. Once we broke out to the upside, called, hey, I'm not interested in trading it. But now is when we're breaking out to the upside. So there we go, tangents upon tangents, but that's the equity markets. The dollar is just basically ranging right now. We need to have that awareness of where the dollar is. Everyone was their dollar bull, had their dollar bull going, just like they had yesterday, their crypto FUD going yesterday, right? Again, Alan, thank you. Watch over here. That's the resistance of the trend line. That's the support over there. We're consolidating currently between the two, waiting for that breakout. In the meantime, right now, we're in no man's land. We're consolidating in no man's land, and that's where we are on the dollar right now. You could see with that weak dollar today. Is that a strong dollar? You could see with the weak dollar, gold and silver really being punished today. Gold and silver being punished today, but they're coming back into this area that is very interesting, this area of accumulation. You could see that over here on gold. And if you look at silver, rejected by the $26 resistance over here, just into that next area, it's ranging, and it looks super good, and it looks super healthy over here. Is this where you want to pick up silver? If it holds this support over here, resumes off, or are you waiting to get above 26? Listen, the next time we look at 26, it might not be, it might be a punch through. It might be a punch through up towards 27.55. Coming off this resistance right now, being able, Alan mentioned earlier, you could take a conquering the market setup. You could get stopped out, and be prepared 50% of the time to get stopped out. So you just got to take the setups that you believe that you're interested in, the clean ones that you see, and know why and how you're managing that risk. All right, so that's gold and silver. They're really not so interesting. But what's interesting and what's the most important thing I think right now is what we've seen happening. I was very, 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 very bringing your awareness all over Ethereum, Bitcoin as it was unfolding. Last weekend on Saturday, putting out this video on altcoins saying to you, hey, something's going on. How often does Jordan talk about altcoins? He's saying Altseason has arrived. Everyone wants to argue, but whatever, right? And over here, you could see that breakout over here. This is the last time we looked at Ethereum, Bitcoin. The last two times over here as we were coming into that support, coming off of it. And then after we had that next breakout, that all-important resistance we were watching, the perfect retest, resumption off, conquering the markets all day long. And over here, you're letting this run at this point in the cycle, right? There's no like, I have no stop losses on my physical gold and silver position. I have no stop loss on Bitcoin. But everyone else telling me that they have stop losses. They have take profits on this all these trades over here, and they're like so close, right? They're so close, and I'm like, I have no idea. Are we gonna make the new all-time high? I don't know. I expect so, right? I do expect so. When is that gonna occur? Where ultimately do we go? How high is Ethereum going? I have no idea. I have absolutely no idea. Look, do I think Bitcoin over here has another 7, 8x? Do I think Bitcoin has an 8, 9x from here? And if it does, do I think Ethereum has that in it as well as any other altcoin that warrants it because it's in favor, not because it's like some project like Steemit, for example. I don't know if anyone's familiar with Steemit. It was a huge project. It had millions and millions of users over here. And, look, it traded as high also. This is Steemit versus Bitcoin. Versus the US dollar, it traded high as $7 in the last bull market. And now right here, it's still off its low. You can see it's still down over here. It's at 18 cents. Is that going to make it on the way up just because it's alt season? I don't know. Maybe it trades at 50 cents. I don't know. Whatever people speculating will warrant. Will it, at the end of alt season, will there be just ridiculous projects that have nothing going on that are seeing like amazing gains just happening all the time, 10x's out of nowhere in hours? I don't know. It depends how crazy the speculation phases get. That's not where I'm focused. I'm focusing on what matters. I'm focusing on the most important trade, Bitcoin, right? Should you be focused on Ethereum right now, right? Depending on, I have a family. I got 5 kids, another on the way, a wife, whether it's healthcare, education, everything needs. It's a lot. I have to do the right thing for me. That's why I'm on Bitcoin, right? But I think it's the safest trade, proven technology. So people speculating on Ethereum, of course, I get it, right? I'm really rooting for Ethereum over here, really at this point in the cycle. But focus on Ethereum, right? Focus on projects, Chainlink, Cardano, like sizable market caps, activity, liquidity, real direction of what's happening. A lot of people love their Litecoin. I don't get it outside of it being a decentralized cryptocurrency. I can't understand why ever making the case for why Litecoin over Bitcoin, right? But, compare Litecoin to a million other projects. I'd be like, yeah, Litecoin's a decentralized cryptocurrency. I could see why there's interest in that. Just why I could see why there's interest in Dogecoin. It's a decentralized cryptocurrency, right? So anyway, digital money. Thanks for all your comments. Everyone, thank you for all of your comments, the insight, the activity, the friendships. I really am grateful for all of it, right? Enough is enough. Yeah. But Mr. Brandon's Crypto Trades and Tech, by the way, is found right on my YouTube channel. You could go to featured channels. You'll see Brandon's and you'll see Heath's. Right? Yeah, it's a lot, right, Tom? So you got to make sure that you do the right thing. Listen, I bring in my kids up in our faith, Catholic. They go to Catholic school. It's private school. It's you got to do the right thing. You got to be really you got to have that awareness. Jordan, why do you spend so much time on Bitcoin? Well, I don't know. I think it's pretty important. I understand money. I understand what's going on. I understand at this point of the cycle where we are, where I want to be invested. I don't know. When I'm exiting Bitcoin, do you think I'm going to be talking about Bitcoin from here to here? From here to here. Over here, I'll start talking about Bitcoin. Over here, I'll start talking about Bitcoin. And then after we have that last dump, that capitulation, this is when Bitcoin capitulated, right? Then I'll be like talking about accumulating. But over here, I'm not going to be focused on Bitcoin at all. I'll be focused much more on the FX markets, much more focused on gold and silver, right? And I'll be focused on what's going on in equities. That's just what it is, and that's where we are right now. And then at the time, you're gonna be like, "Oh, this is just a stock show." It's not a show. I mean, it's me looking at the markets, talking about what I talk about, why I'm doing what I'm doing. I believe gold has a better use case than the U.S. dollar, but it's easier to move in and out of dollars, So looking over here, this is, by the way, let's check in over here when Will shared this chart over here. This was the commodity index breaking out of its multi-year trend. This was a big one. KIPS was even sooner. KIPS brought this up over the summer over here before breaking outside of that trend line over here, bringing everyone's awareness over to it, really getting everyone involved, aware of that nickel trade, right? Copper, so important. The industrial metals running. Here's a basket of commodities running outside over here. Look what this is when Will brought this chart to our attention. Look where we are today. You can see that extending out of there, right? Into that first area of supply over here. A pullback, this trend line holding, or a resumption off of whatever consolidation starting right now is the time for you to become interested, if you are interested, in commodities. Inflation is rampant. Inflation is clear. Inflation is everywhere. If you can't see it, I tweeted this out yesterday morning. Like, for all those who can't, that see let's see what I tweeted. I'm at a loss for words. Let me pull that up over there. We just froze a little bit, so I'm going to keep talking over here. There we go. Let me come over here. Yesterday morning, I was like, this is why I'm sharing with you now. For whatever reason, I don't know, but I am. So here we are. By the way, I just kept it going over here talking about as we were falling, right? As we were falling. By the way, it's just true. Someone was pointing out, listen, you've been super accurate on Bitcoin and everything else since I found this channel in early 2020. I don't expect things to change anytime soon. I mean, it is what it is, and that's what it is. That's what, Joe, well said. That's just what it is. And I was because people ask me, well, what do you think about this person's opinion on Bitcoin? Well, you all know, right? Everyone in Conquering the Markets, I'm always consulting their opinions, and their opinions only, really, right? Their opinions only really. We just talked about how Brandon got everyone here keenly aware of why it was more important to be focused on Bitcoin pairs, right? And look, during this last pullback, that's what that was the place. He was like, "What pullback?" Last night on the live stream. Always consulting other people's opinion, but when it comes down to when it comes down to not just Bitcoin, right? The markets we look at, but specifically Bitcoin, the most important trade. Anyway, over here it was, good morning, especially to those who see the rampant inflation you have broken out of the main matrix. They've tried to tell you for the past 12 years that QE is deflationary and there's no inflation around you. They're very clear on that. And there are people, there's an interview over here, I think this is it, that I'm interested in watching. This is Raoul Pal, a big deflationist, with Jeff Booth, a big deflationist, but because of tech. And I've always been very clear about that. Technology is uber deflationary. Automation, technology is super deflationary, right? So I'm interested to understand both of their viewpoints. Guys that I believe are, technology is deflationary, but on the wrong side of this whole trade. But I want to understand why they are and what they think. And I'm definitely interested always in understanding all viewpoints around me. All right, where does that take us, and where are we? People mad at me that I don't have stop loss on my Bitcoin, I guess. All right, so where are we going? Boom, 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 boom. See that? The more you understand, do some research. There's Unchained Capital. They have a lot of blog posts. Parker Lewis going back for years right now. These guys are some of the the thought giants inside the space. Read about what they talk about, game playing all this stuff out. Don't worry. Don't worry about anything that's nothing new under the sun. How about we say that? I don't know. I missed Joe's comment. I don't know what it was. I'm going to come in, check in with all of you right now, see what we want to focus in on, see what we want to look at. I guess I'm not even going into FX because it's a Friday right now. It is a Friday. Over the weekend, I know Heath will have a video out preparing for the week ahead in FX. That's one to definitely watch out for. If you're not getting those updates when those videos are published, there is below in the description, as well as the description to this video that we shared on the log charts, that has the download links to Will's log charts, mine, and others. There's also a link down over there to the broadcast channel for Telegram. If you're not on that broadcast channel, then you're not knowing when all this content and information is being shared. The video with the alts versus Bitcoin charts from Brandon, I think it was such a good video yesterday. I didn't even see that. Oh, I saw Brandon live yesterday. All right, what else are we going over here? What else we do? Yeah, so Boomer, Dave, someone else mentioned earlier on 30% pullback in Bitcoin, and they took out a BlockFi loan. First of all, I would never tell anyone to take out a leveraged loan against Bitcoin. I told you all when I did it right around 12 or 13,000, and then again at like 18, 19,000. But you have to understand the risks if you're taking out a loan. Otherwise, you could wind up losing the collateral you put up. So, understand and know what you're doing if you're doing it. Do you do it again over here at 32,000, 30% pullback? Listen, understand and know what you're doing, and make sure that you have not only the collateral, but if need be, and you needed to back up that collateral further, that you already have that money aside. Make sure you understand what you're doing. I would never tell anyone to do that, but someone was looking at that this morning, Bitcoin down 30%. They were looking over here at 32,000 Bitcoin, really, 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 really cheap Bitcoin. I think, in my opinion, over here, we're currently at this point of the cycle. We haven't even started going towards our parabolic blow off top, which will occur, by the way, which will occur not only on Bitcoin, it'll occur on Ethereum and across the crypto markets. There will be a severe mania stage. And during this mania stage, all of you are going to be frozen like deer in headlights. Deer in headlights. Well, you're not, actually, because I'm preparing you right now for when that happens. I'm preparing you for that right now for when that happens. And I'm going to be doing that. That's what I do. I'm preparing myself always. I'm preparing you, not only for the downside, right? Everyone was prepared for this little bit of pullback, right? Should anyone think that it's easy? I mean, I don't think so. I never do. I mean, is there a calmness always? Of course. If Bitcoin came off, by the way, 50%, what would you do? What would you do if Bitcoin came off 50%? I know what I would do, but what would you do if Bitcoin came off 50% and it came all the way down? Is it possible? I mean, could we come back down below 19,000 anyway? You know, will you ever see Bitcoin under 19,000? Probably not even in a crisis right now. I don't think so. But, you know, if it came down, and that is 50%, sorry, I lost my train. Yeah, that's almost 50%, you know? Are you going to see 20,000 Bitcoin again? I don't, but if you did, what would you do? Sell? I would be buying. I would be buying more. There's no question about it. I already know what I'm going to do if whatever happens happens. All right. So what else? So we want to pass the Bitcoin on to the kids. That's for sure. All right. So what else going on this weekend? Are we going to see a big monster Friday? Have we already seen a monster Friday? I mean, Ethereum is up 10% versus the US dollar. It's up 5% versus Bitcoin, right? And you can see Bitcoin up 5% off the dollar, but that, you know, after a 30% drawdown, this could be considered a dead cat bounce. And it's quite possible it is nothing more than a bounce here before going on to ultimately break down over here and trade lower. You know, where like look at these trend lines, by the way, that's been here for a while. If I zoom out with you really quick, these two trend lines are the prime trend lines. And everyone, this was the prime trend line, excuse me. These are clone trend lines off of this trend line. And everyone knows what I did way all the way back during the summer, putting in these trend lines. And these two trend lines were done months ago. They're highlighted because the market's here right now and focused in on them. But do you see how that's holding as support, by the way? Let me just delete this so that I could see what's going on in front of me. Do you see how that's been holding as support? Right? Amazing. But there it is. Could that break? It broke over here. It looks like a lot of stops were triggered. Those people with their stop losses, they were all triggered. Were there people down here buying? I know a lot of you mentioned that you were buying the dip yesterday on the Twitter thread. A lot of you looking at that. And so what else are we looking at resuming off here? It looks like that we should be testing the upper part of this resistance next. If we come back down and break over here, yeah, we could have a big move to the downside. I don't know where it would be. I don't think we go below 26. A move into 26 at any point if we broke down below this triangle over here, that would make a lot of sense to me. I think it would be quick, and I think then we go on to really break out for the next move, like major move upwards. Where that's targeting, we'll probably be looking over here at Will's trend line over here. Again, next one coming in right now around a little bit higher than 65,000, coming in above 65,000. So what else, and where does that bring me back to? I was looking over here. By the way, this is just that bigger look. This is Brad's chart work over here, these trend lines over here on the DXY. And just to see, remember, conquering the markets, we do add trend lines off of one touch. What? You know, you got, so yeah, and look how this trend line over here was here well before price came in. Perfect touch, resuming off of there. Always keeping that, sharing that with you and myself. So Michael bought another 10 million. I mean, listen, when the guys bought 1.3 billion dollars, what's another 10 million? But Michael throwing together his pocket change, buying more Bitcoin over here at 30,000. I'm interested to see, you know, the institutions are here. It's different. We're not going to have any big pullbacks. The institutions are here. It's different. We're not going to have a bear market in Bitcoin. You know, listen, at the end of the day, if you're listening here now, just remember what's being said. At some point in the future, come on back, be here with us. Could anyone calculate? I don't know the Y too well. I don't know this blue inner channel over here, right? This blue inner channel during the bull market phase. In the past, we move into it. But we never break below that. That's kind of where we're trading at right now. I wish that this chart graph over here was a little more accurate, or I was able to look at this chart and see where the current price is. But I imagine right now that we are pretty close pretty close somewhere to the lower end of this blue channel over here. In the bull markets and past cycles, that's generally the low. Good to have that awareness all around you. So it's 682 likes. Pretty good for a Friday, but Friday's usually the jam. Let's get into it a little more. Let's see what you guys are focused in on. That's so could BlackRock afford does MicroStrategy have 30? Oh, could they afford $30,000 Bitcoin? Yeah, they could afford $1 million Bitcoin. What does that mean? First of all, BlackRock is managing trillions of dollars. The largest asset manager in the world, BlackRock, right? They are basically like they're the Federal Reserve, kind of, aren't they? Oh yeah. Well, we won't get into that today. We don't need to. But yeah, BlackRock manages. Could they afford $1 million Bitcoin? Of course they can. What are you talking about? They could buy a fraction of a Bitcoin if they needed to. But if you're sitting on trillions of dollars, $1 million Bitcoin is really not expensive. So is Michael selling Bitcoin? Michael has stated in the past that he would take out loans versus Bitcoin rather than sell his Bitcoin. He doesn't plan on selling his Bitcoin for over 100 years, ever. We'll see. Can you imagine 100 years from now the headline? Michael Saylor selling his Bitcoin. So Robert, I'm not really focused. Robert, did you clone the top channel trend line and bring it to the button? I don't know. Where can I get the Bitcoin log chart with the trend line? It's in the description below, Bobby. You'll see a video for log charts video. Watch that video. In that video is the description. Is the download links for those charts. Happy Friday. You bought the Bitcoin Ethereum dip, now fully positioned thanks to me. Thanks to you, Al. I'm just going over these charts, just taking a look at what's going on over here. You're the one understanding what you're doing and why you're doing it, and I applaud you for that, but thank you. Right? We bought two Bitcoin miners over here. Any thoughts? Not on the miners themselves. I think right now look, it's all about Bitcoin, right? Bitcoin's the rising tide, but it's lifting all boats. Those boats include Ethereum, other altcoins. It includes speculation across all cryptocurrency assets, including, as you're seeing, in the miners. So listen, I just think that if that's something that you have to know what you're investing in and why. You have to know what you're investing in and why. And I don't. So just be careful. Same thing with gold and silver and the miners. It seems to me a lot more volatility. That can mean volatility on the upside. I'm comfortable with Bitcoin's volatility. I'm comfortable with a 30% plus drawdown. On the miners, what those type of drawdowns might be, I have no idea. Are they greater than that? I mean, Ethereum has more volatility than Bitcoin, right? Currently. Let's see what's going on over here. I want to see that it was from the all-time high over here to low. That was, well, not really. That's about the same thing, a couple of percent less. Interesting. Ethereum. Interesting. All right. So, Jordan, what could I do why I could only afford to buy 0.57 Bitcoin? Just a bit more than fraction. Yeah, that's great. Right? I mean, I don't know. Where Bitcoin, obviously you're interested in Bitcoin. You probably understand Bitcoin. You're thinking about buying Bitcoin, or you have that much Bitcoin, like hold the Bitcoin, right? That's what I would do. That's what I'm doing. And then when it's time to sell it. And then when it's time to buy more, accumulate again, and you'll have increased your overall Bitcoin position. But as a Bitcoiner, you have to learn to do your best to be as frugal about money and how you spend it and where you spend it. Understanding what we're seeing happening is the purchase of power of fiat currency dwindling away. And then we're seeing the purchasing power of Bitcoin drastically increasing. Now, it's not just straight up like that. There are waves. We're here to ride the waves together. Yeah, there's a bunch of people out there. There's a bunch of people out there thinking that they are going to be living to 150. Now, I don't know how old Michael is, but I also said 100 years because, he's talking about holding Bitcoin for 100 years. But I don't know if the guy's 60 years old or how old he is, or, could he live to 160? I mean, there are people out there who believe that that is what they are destined for right now. A lot of these people, especially over in Silicon Valley, who knows? You know, we'll see what happens. So it comes up the question over here, by the way, if I was a US citizen, I do not want to pay 50%. I would totally hold to 2025. You know, whether or not capital gains go up under the Biden administration or not, we'll find out soon enough. So the question is right now during alt season, right? As now like, all right, it's we've seen all these trend line breaks across the board. We know it's alt season. Alt season's about to get going. It started. Do I want to be trading alt versus Bitcoin actively to make money right now? Well, you understand that, like, whether it's doing it on cryptocurrencies, doing it on stocks, doing it on currencies, you're paying taxes, right? And you know, there's difference between long-term cap gains and normal your normal tax rate. You're paying money on income depending on how much income you earn. But do you want to learn less income so that you don't make more money? I mean, I get you if you're on the verge of going up to another tax bracket, I guess maybe that could be, but generally you want to make, you know, the more money that you can make and be happy to pay taxes on it. That's the mindset I've always had, at least. Feel Good Friday. Definitely happy to be here with all of you. Looking forward to how this morphs into and how this session over here, which, by the way, has been a fantastic session. As far as I'm concerned, not a little light on the likes, a little light on the likes. I think by the end of the day, though, we'll have over 1,000 likes. I really believe that. That's for sure. What else can we look at? Jumping over to real time to see what you all are talking about. Sorry, Heath, posting someone over here. Boom. Now we're at the trillions. Could you address the huge spread in BlockFi Bitcoin, please? From what? I don't know. I'm not aware. I'm not aware of what the spread is right now on BlockFi, you know, or like what BlockFi is spread between what? I mean, is there a large fee? You don't trade on BlockFi. BlockFi is something that I use to purchase and hold Bitcoin, right? You can't even place limit orders on BlockFi. That's not an exchange for trading. So if you're worried about the spread, or if you're worried about like the cost, the fee of the cost of doing business, then there's other ways for you to acquire Bitcoin. Robert, glad to have you with us. Glad to have you with us. Thank you for that. Thank you for saying that. Could you talk about? Well, I don't know what this is. Let's check it out. So this is versus the U.S. dollar. We're going to look at. I'm not familiar with this project or this coin at all. Trading over here at all-time highs. You could see over there. You could see that beautiful consolidation over here. You could see the trend line of the consolidation put in place. Getting ready here. It looks like to continue. What about versus Bitcoin? That's what I'm kind of interested in right now. Let's take a look. You can see already breaking out versus Bitcoin. You could see that breaking out versus Bitcoin. Look, where's the trend line we're looking at? Connecting those to here, right? Is that that's a pretty good look over here. And you could see that against Bitcoin breaking out, coming in already for a big, nice retest, resuming off it, consolidating, making another leg up, right? So, I mean, do you think that these things, and don't buy something because I'm looking at it, buy it if you see it and understand it and want to, or sell it if you think that's what you understand, and but understand why you're doing what you're doing. But it seems to me it's not just all coins are looking to take out their all-time highs versus Bitcoin during this bull market alt season that we're looking at, right? And again, it's up to you where you want to focus your attention. Does it make sense, in my opinion, to be focusing over here? Absolutely. That's why you could see me bringing your focus over here, right? That's why you could see me. Am I focused over on copper right now? No, I'm not. Is copper getting ready? It's, by the way, over here, getting ready. We should adjust that like this so it's nice and easy and clean for us. Does that look like it's getting ready for another leg up? It definitely does. Is that where you want to be invested? Is that why I'm looking at again, nickel also? This continues just to consolidate over here. It's not really attractive right here, right now. There are things that are highly attractive right now, and it's beautiful. So there we are. How about that? Dot. Let's take a look at Dot, see what's going on. But that's rising. I have to be clear because the market's always going to be there. There's always opportunity. And we were looking at Dot twice. We were looking at it as it came into the circle, and then we were looking at it as it broke out above here, right before it broke out, saying, look, it looks like it's getting ready to break out over here. It broke out. That came in for a retest and already resuming off, making a new swing high over here. So now's not the time for us to be looking at that because that happened. That was why when Ethereum and Bitcoin were coming off, I brought your attention over to Dot. I brought your attention over to Chainlink, and I brought your attention over to Cardano. And that's, that's just, it wasn't until Brandon articulated it last night though that I understood it. And that's for sure. Glad to be on his live stream over there. If you're not subscribed yet to Trade Talk and to Crypto Trades and Tech, you could find them on my YouTube channel. You could find them under the feature channels. Brandon and Heath putting out and continue just to add a lot to our community over here, as do so many. I can't believe how amazing the move to Discord has been from Telegram with all the different channels. So many people being so instrumental. Gene, Greg, the work that they're doing together. Alan, every day. I mean, I feel so blessed. Is Gemini a parent company to BlockFi? Gemini is an investor. The Winklevoss's venture fund is an investor, not Gemini itself, is an investor in BlockFi. But BlockFi does use Gemini's cold storage to store their physical Bitcoin. So there's that relationship there with the Geminis brothers. There's also with Morgan Creek Digital, Anthony Papalano. Anthony also the third round, 50 million. He led that round. So some people who have really built a lot, Gemini Exchange, the Winklevoss brothers, Anthony Papalano, people who are really have added a lot to Bitcoin and its infrastructure. Winklevoss brothers back in 2013 taking a 1% position of Bitcoin was an absolute enormous. That really helped the adoption of Bitcoin in a huge, enormous way, and they continue to do so. But BlockFi, just like anything else, there's risk. How concerned are you about that risk, right? The FDIC will not be there to bail out banks if there ever is a banking problem because they're all interconnected. We learned that in 2008. Boom, 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 boom. Yeah. Well, I don't know who's risk. I don't know who you're having a conversation with, but it was very clear. Make sure that you should be happy to report all earned income, right? Gene, go get it. Cardano definitely continuing. Oh, we're on Cardano looking over there. That's a beautiful thing over there. Sweden. Yeah, that's beautiful. I think the Netherlands also has a really low tax rate also. Lots of different things going on across the world over here. I'm not sure what your normal tax rate is though, outside of capital gains, but they're talking about in the US, and I think that we're going to see it eventually. Maybe they'll start with the wealthy. When I say wealthy, I mean the billionaires, but I think they're going to have a wealth tax where they're taxing capital gains before their realized capital gains. That would just be a travesty. That would stifle innovation in the biggest way ever. But they're talking about it. It'll probably happen. Crazy skates. Platinum, it's been a long time. Let's take a look at platinum. I feel like, and I continually do so, I feel like this was one trade that I really let get away from me. And it was all the way back here when we were inside this channel over here. And as the last touch, we came into that lower end of that last bit of support. And I was just kind of sleeping on it. Here was the beautiful breakout of that channel. The breakout, that's where the move happens. That's the sweet spot that you don't need to pick the bottom. This is when you want to get involved on the breakout itself, right? And then since it's run up, consolidated again, run up, it's consolidating again, and where do we think, right? We all, I think everyone sees the trend right now. Of course, we're going to see some conversations in 2021 again, maybe in the spring. about the Fed is going to be looking to exit QE. They're going to be looking to exit QE. Is it easier for them now that the government spending is picking up or is expected to pick up? Are we going to get $1 trillion in stimulus? Do we even want it? Do you want another $1.9 trillion in debt? Money that's not going, being spent on infrastructure, bettering the situation, bettering the future. It's going to be spent on what? Going to where it always goes, right? So anyway, platinum. The BAT token, right? BAT token is off of, I want to look at this just to know where it is right now. BAT is the basic attention token that is run by the Brave browser. Let's take a look at it. And you can see over here, I'm going to come to the 3-day. Now, it's lagging behind and lagging by a lot. You know, when I say lagging behind, what I mean is this trend line break over here. It's lagging and it's lagging behind a lot. You know, is it possible as the beginning of all? I got to pull up the Bitwise. I can't do it. I should have this ready for you. This is something that I'm going to have ready for you in advance to talk about and not be able to talk right now. But I want to show you what was happening over here with altcoins at this point of the cycle. Because at first it's Bitcoin that leads. Then you see the top 10 finally start leading, which you're seeing now as Ethereum, DOT, Cardano. Is Cardano in the top 10? I have no idea. I have not looked at the top 10 index of Bitcoin in probably a couple of years. So let's take a look. Who do we got? We got Polkadot number 4, right? Ethereum is now, XRP is gone. No, XRP is number 5. All right, so we had a flipping here of Polkadot and XRP's market cap. Cardano is number 6. Litecoin, decentralized cryptocurrency, is number 7. Chainlink number 8. All right, and then you have BNB has a big use case, doesn't it? I'm going to talk about BAT because I'm talking about projects with use cases right now, and then we're going to look at the next the 11 through 20. I want to see what's going on next because are we going to start seeing a move on these bigger mid caps over here next? Is that what's going to happen? Let's go look at that right now because we're seeing a move on the top 10, right? But I know over here, and I've laid this out for you before. Yeah, well, you see Bitcoin first, then you see the top 10, and then you start seeing the whether it's the top 70 or top 100 really start making their move, making the greatest appreciation. So with that all being said, come back and look at BAT with me. All right, let's look at BAT. And you can see that it's lagging right now. I say it's lagging. We know that DOT, we know that Cardano, we know that other Ethereum, those in the top 10 have already broken out of this trend line. So maybe, even though it's lagging, maybe it's getting ready for when it's going to come into flavor. Now, the best thing to do is wait for this break. That's the best thing to do. Let's look over here also at BNB. BNB is Binance's coin that has a big use case. It's used for trading fees, for lower trading fees on their platform. Their platform is a monster, right? And then on top of that, they also take their profits quarterly and buy and burn BNB tokens. So that seems like, compared to other projects, I could understand why someone might have an interest in the Binance token, right? Now, it became harder for Americans to hold the Binance token once Binance split into Binance USA, or at least those from New York. I don't know if those outside of New York could hold it or not. I'd be interested to know that. So here you go. You can see it's lagging a lot too. Everyone's familiar during the bear market when the token was first launched. It was a monster, the BNB token. And then it kind of has been, out of flavor since. And you can see that it's really lagging. This is a number 10 cryptocurrency. So as we get into XLM, let's take a look at it. Let me take a look at it at least. XLM versus BTC. So this looks like it's broken out. Of note over here also, really of note, yeah, it looks like it's broken out, right tested, looking to resume up. Of note over here though, there was a big correlation between XRP and XLM. They both pumped in November over here. This is versus Bitcoin. If I look at versus the US dollar, it's a little cleaner. Let's look at that, XLM, US dollar, and they both pumped during November over here. XRP did not pump again in the first week of January as XLM. is the market saying or deciding which that they prefer to be invested in. Look at XRP really quick, just comparing it to XLM over there, and you can see that XRP made that pump over here in that's January. That was its pump. This is the pump, right? That's the pump in November. This was the move in XLM in January, which made new higher swing highs. On XRP, it just was a blip down into that resistance actually we were looking at over there. So could XRP, if it does break out of that trend line, really start making a move over here to the upside? All right, is that something you want to really be involved in right now? Think about it. Look, you see what's going on across the board. There's a lot of projects, and those projects are making moves. One of the most notable, of course, over here is Polkadot, flipping XRP over here. Cardano remains strong, right? Chainlink, new all-time highs over here. You're seeing others continuing to move down. Is that a trend that you will continue to see? Look, Bitcoin Cash could trade at who knows what during this bull market phase, right? Because a rising tide lifts all boats. The speculation hasn't even begun yet. Are you going to see Bitcoin Cash trading higher than it is today? Probably. Is that really what you want to be invested in, and why? There's a trend. It's going down. What else are we looking at over here? That's it, right? Here's Alva. Then you have some mid-cap projects. It'd be interesting to know what are the projects that Theta a lot of people are interested in. Let's take a look at Theta versus Bitcoin. I'm going to imagine that has broken out over the trend line over here, but I don't know. 923 likes. We almost made it to 1,000 this Friday morning. Either way, thanks for being here with me. This is just on against the dollar. I'm not interested against the dollar, right? So I want to take a look over here versus BTC. Let's see if I can get a better look at what's going on over here. Let me come to that 3-day chart. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Right? So it's just been a beast ever since launch, right? And you can see this beautiful structure. It looks like a lot like the nickel structure with the rising channels. You know, looks a lot like nickel. Come over here, look at nickel. Looks a lot like that. Boom, 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 boom. Brazil. What's going on? Beautiful people. Beautiful people all over the world. That's the thing about humans and people, that they're so nice. And it's so funny how rare you're bombarded with messages about how nice people are. Because that's my experience traveling the world, that people everywhere are really, really, really nice. So, HeadSnack. Big shout out to my brother HeadSnack over there. If you didn't yet see the video, that I'm going to put it into the description as we speak. I'm glad that he was able to mention it. We looked at this 2 Fridays ago, and it was the theme song that HeadSnack made for Conquering Trading and Investing. Listen, Brett, if you're listening right now, I'm going to play some of the track right now, and then I'll share the link. But let's not put any copyright strikes out for that. All right, let's keep that on the level. Here we go.
Markets, analyzing the charts, hitting projected targets within the margin. Find the flow, sip the matcha, and wait for the waves to come in with lobsters. The kind-hearted Jordan Fosters, working smarter, not harder to move the markers. On his way to conquer trading and investing, drinking the coffee while reflecting on the blessing. The markets are not crashing, the prices might be slashing just to pretend they're in fashion. See the like button.
Absolutely, absolutely love it. Grateful for it. I'm going to have to include that link right now in the description below for you later. Like to have that set up for you. I'll make sure that whoever's watching this now on the replay is going to see that link for sure. So thanks, Brett. And here we go. Let me just push it into the comments right here, and then I'll get it into the description. I want to fall back to what we were just talking about over here when JC was mentioning something. There you go. Can we look at Celsius? So Celsius is a project that offers lending against Bitcoin. It's like BlockFi, except it's like BlockFi, and they have their own token. Let's take a look at it and see what it's doing. Celsius Bitcoin. And you could see since inception, just like Theta, it has been really, really in this nice bull market. I want to focus on this over here, though. I want to focus on right before price did that little burst up, right? So I want you to focus on here. It's an upward sloping channel. It's what we're seeing happening on the equity markets right now. Now, I always say to you what happens on crypto and on Bitcoin takes place a lot faster than it does on other traditional markets. And that's the truth, right? So, but you could see what happened as you broke up. Then you came into that blow off top over here, that blow off top, which like I said, if we see that occur on the equity markets, then you know a near term top is being put in place. Pointed out a couple of times it's happened in 2020 over here and again over here. And we'll just continue to monitor and watch for that. And until that happens, and unless we see any breakdowns on the downside, they just look really healthy, just unattractive. But right over here, now back down off the resistance, off this area of support, this area that, right, you're continually looking to buy off of, in my opinion. If you're interested in the project, if you're interested in a token, there are those that would frown upon a Bitcoin company having their own native token to run their business. So, now I don't know if that's, rightfully so or not, because if it's helping fund the company and and it works for the company, well, then it seems like it could be a great. There's caution out there to look into, right? So two options, Celsius and BlockFi. That's beautiful, Thomas. That's beautiful. Simon, this is Brett Song. Loving it. What else are we looking at here this morning? HeadSnack. We're going to go out with HeadSnack again later today. We'll play that full video afterwards as we finish this session today. Smash the like button. HeadSnack back to start the watch from beginning. Peace and much love. Definitely. Thank you, brother, for being over here. It's been a good session. I thought we were going to make 1,000. We did make 1,000 likes. 1,000 likes. Definitely getting that boost from HeadSnack himself. Definitely grateful for that, my brother. Yeah. JC, of course. JPM, Anthony, screaming from the front, screaming. What's that? Let's see JPM. Gotta look at the enemy. Gotta see what's going on over here. So all I could say is that it's more bullish here that we went on and made the all-time high over here than if price had come up into it over here and then came into that supply and been rejected. If that was happening, I think you would see a bigger correction. Being that it made the all-time high over here, and what happens as we normally see assets make new all-time highs, whether that's going back first to gold this year when we looked at it making new all-time high, and then the 7% pullback over there. We were expecting that ahead of time. Here you're seeing similar. We just saw a similar thing occur on Ethereum after making the new all-time high, had that nice pullback. And here on JPM, you're seeing that happen. So that's really stuff that you should be looking out for and be like, that's the sign of a healthy market. Is it possible that if something like Bitcoin makes a new all-time high, when I'm talking high, I'm talking cycle high now, when it took out the 19,000 high, that it could run? I don't know. Anything's possible. It's the markets. This looks super healthy over here, pulling back over here. You guys still have this whole area over here to look for, a nice area to look to buy into. Even more so down over here. Super, super healthy. Looks good. Yeah, let's check out IOTA. Let's check out versus Bitcoin. You should be able now to go here, pull up any chart versus Bitcoin, any altcoin versus Bitcoin, to know how it's I mean, not really, right? It's just flatlined. Can we say that it's flatlined? I can't even see myself where I would want to put these trend lines at all. So I'm not going to. Right? Was that the breakout and then was it failed? Let's take a look at this. You had a trend line break over here. If you don't want to take a look at this, then don't take a look. Go away. Go away. Let me take a look at this. Here's a trend line break from the all-time high. Broke out, perfect retest, resuming off, and then it came back. You can see it trades below the low over here. And that's been resistance since. I don't know. Is it dead? Doesn't look good. Looks very bad right now, Greg. In my opinion. You know, in my opinion. If we look at what's going on with Amazon, I mean, Amazon tracking the U.S. indexes. If you're interested what's going on, you know, on any individual stock, know what we're doing on the indexes. Right now, indexes continue to spike up. But over here in Amazon, yeah, it looks beautiful. Look, breakout, retest, resumption. In for another retest. Super healthy, happens often. We're always ready for that and aware of that. Resuming off. How do you buy it? You have to chase the gaps on stocks. Like, is that you have to chase the gaps? I don't know. I don't like it. It's just not such a good market. But that's what's happening. All right, everyone. Beautiful, beautiful Friday. Beautiful. Yeah, a lot of interest. Yeah, absolutely in Riot for sure. A lot of interest in Riot. Well, I'm trying to figure out what's wrong with those trend lines. They don't even look remotely with the right angles. Anyway, here we are. Look, I don't know what to say. Rising tide lifts all boats. You know, I don't know anything about it. That's what I think of it. Yeah, we look at gold, we looked at silver earlier in the live stream. Go back to the beginning of the live stream, find out in the beginning of the chart where you see gold versus the US dollar, and there you could find our look at gold, our look at silver, our look at everything. We covered everything, we covered it beautifully. Everyone should have that really, really strong awareness of their surroundings, of what's going on, and feel really comfortable about it. That's what we do. Thanks for your support, Silvergate. Jim, we can look at Silvergate right now. Wow. Wow. Next leg up happening right now. After that consolidation. And then boom, you can see it breaking out right now. That's a beautiful looking chart. That's a beautiful looking chart. Silver and in 2021, I think it's going to be the year that silver makes its new all-time highs, right? Don't sleep on it if you're interested in it. That's the thing about the markets. There's so much interesting stuff happening all of the time. I'm looking over here to put this right under silver. And that's what we'll do. Thank you, Gene. Appreciate that. Algo also, what's going on with Algo? That launched during the bear market. Let's put up over here Algo versus BTC and get a nice feel for what's going on. So that was when it's launched. It's kind of hard putting a trend line in off of that because it's weird. But let's just try it, right? So lagging a little bit. I would have to say it's lagging, this project. You know, it's lagging. Now, is that something like we saw when we were looking at, for example, what was this over here? When we were looking at Binance Coin or was it Stellar? Something that looked good but was lagging a little bit. Let's look at Chainlink. We didn't look at Chainlink, by the way. And let's see what's going on over here with Chainlink and Bitcoin. I have it right here on my chart. Yeah, I mean, that looks good. So there's a difference. You should be focusing on strength versus not weakness, in my opinion. If you start seeing at any point, whether it's months from now or whenever it is, and we start seeing just euphoria take place, if we start seeing euphoria take place, like let me check out Neo Bitcoin. Neo was a big one in the last cycle over there. You could see that it's just not looking good and it's lagging. And projects that were popular during the last cycle that never did anything or don't have any like strong future prospects, maybe during the height of this mania are going to pump. whether, and if they're pumping, then you could be more focused on a general broader spectrum, but focus where the strength is right now. We're very clear about what the strength is. If it's in my watch list, it's strength. So you have DOT over here, right? You have DOT, you have Ethereum Bitcoin, you have Chainlink Bitcoin, Cardano Bitcoin, right? And there are others that are looking okay. I don't have them, but that's a lot for me to focus in on. And if at any point we start seeing some smaller cap tokens that are really I should have Theta in there. I should have Theta. I should look across at some other things over here just to see, like Celsius. Is that one that people should be really watching? I think so. If I was really interested, I would be interested. Other people pointed out another good one today, and that was Aave. I don't know what it is. I'd like to know or have an idea of what the project is, just to have that understanding. I know what EOS is, right? EOS was a big Bitcoin grab, right? So I know what Bitcoin Cash was, a train wreck, right? So I know what XRP was. So anyway, it's just all putting it together. It's just all putting it together, and I have a blast doing it, and I'm thankful to be able to share it with you and do that together. So really, I'm gonna play a little bit of a HeadSnacks track over here. I don't know what happened to it, so I'm gonna be talking for a minute while I pull that up, and then after I share that, I'm gonna be looking at where we go, HeadSnack on YouTube. There we go. Then I'm gonna be putting up our last our theme song as well, our honeymoon, and then call it a beautiful weekend. If something's going on over the weekend, like last weekend, then I'll definitely be active in letting you know. I don't think that's going to happen because right now everyone has a really good feel for what is happening.
Markets, analyzing the charts, hitting projected targets within the margin. Find the flow, sip the matcha, and wait for the waves to come in with lobsters. The kind-hearted Jordan Fosters, working smarter, not harder to move the markers. On his way to conquer, trading and investing, drinking the coffee while reflecting on the blessing. The markets are not crashing, the prices might be slashing just to pretend they're in fashion. Hit the like button, comments, and smash it. Boom, boom, Jordan in the room, grab the bull by the horns and to the moon. Flow from the plateau, make the play. Boom, boom, it's a taco day.
It's a taco day. It's a taco day. I'll cut off the music for 1 second. Really good question over here. Thank you, Gemma. Also, have a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful weekend. But Giles, thank you, my brother, for sure. I love the bear walking on the charts. There was a question over here from Dave saying, do I ever look at the total market cap of all altcoins? I do not. I was tweeting about why I do not just the other day. I think yesterday. I was tweeting about why I do not and why there's no need. And you could see from this session alone that we just did and how I'm looking at different projects versus Bitcoin, why I would not want to be looking at the overall market cap. Right? Because if I were, I would be off of what the strength versus the weakness, right? I want to focus, and if you could just follow my watch list that I've had here for quite a while, right? I update it as the market changes and updates, and now you could see what I did today after Brandon showed me, right? After talking that through with Brandon and showing me at this point in the cycle, altcoins versus Bitcoin is where it's at and why. I put these up now over here towards the top. Not my focus is not going to be on dollar pairs at this point in the cycle any longer. So you got to make those adjustments as they're happening. I don't think focusing on the total altcoin market cap offers an edge. Here it is over here. I'm curious why people, I'm asking them to try to get a good answer, why people focus on the Bitcoin dominance chart, right? Could it have proved my understanding sooner, right? It didn't give me an edge in knowing Altseason had arrived. Actually, I've been telling everyone early 2020 when I expected Altseason to begin, and I always said that was 6 months after the Bitcoin halving, right? And I explained why I feel that, because Bitcoin starts outperforming, and that attracts lots of speculation, lots of people who think they missed out. Bitcoin halving was in May. So November, right? November, December, that is 6 months. January, we started talking about Altseason back earlier around that time as well. That's when the breakouts started occurring. Right now, it should be pretty clear to everyone what is happening and why. So I think that's much better advantage doing what we do here. Look, it's not as clear, I guess, as other people. I don't, but it's way more effective. It's effective. Thanks, Anthony. So a couple of things getting added here for sure. George, thank you. First of all, I finally just now in that last 10 seconds got rid of the popping sound we've been experiencing for the last sessions, a week or so. Thank you for George. Sorry for the Discord alerts also. I'll make sure that's off every time we go live or recording over here. So thank you for that. That will be cleaned. Thank you for everyone really contributing all the time, and everyone in every which way. Is the only reason the community is so special is because of all of us, of all of everything that we do together. So I'm really, really thankful and grateful for that. Wes, Cameron, George, Stefano, everyone, Pure Vita, thank you for helping moderate the YouTube channel. for helping us keep on the flow and focusing on what's important, because what we're doing here is really important work. What we're doing here is really life-changing, important work, and that's what the focus needs to be on. So I'm grateful for all of you. HeadSnack, by the way, you could find out the link I'm going to share in the description here below. You could also check out in the description of the song on his channel. You could find out where to stream that on Spotify and whatever other music platform you listen to. The link will be right there for you. So thanks for everyone. Have a beautiful weekend, and I'll talk to you soon.